And we are back here for the weekend preview for Los Alamitos Racecourse. I'm your host, Jose Contreras, joined by Los Alamitos simulcast analyst during the simulcast signal each and every night there from Los Al, Christopher Wade. Chris, we are keeping one eye on the Remington Park feed because we are recording on Thursday. They got trials, so we always like to keep an eye on the other quarter horse action across the country, and we're keeping an eye at Remington Park. But we're going to talk about Saturday at Los Al. We got 10 races, and we do complete the card with the stakes event, the running of the Dashing Folly. And also, we have the babies already underway, as we saw last week here at Los Al. And we're, about two weeks away from the trials for the kindergarten futurity, right?
Yeah, I guess some good-looking runners going poster last week. It's some monster horses for Heath Taylor, who's having a great season, no matter the venue, no matter the level of competition. His barn is absolutely on fire.
Yeah, he's a dual coast now type of barn because he's having a good season in Remington. He's having a great season here at Los Al, and his babies are definitely going to be pointing him very tough in those kindergarten trials that we'll have in just a couple of weeks here at Los Alamitos. All right, let's take a look at Saturday night. And again, 10 races for this Saturday night. No racing on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, as it's traditional here at Los Al. We do not race on Sunday Easter, so happy Easter to all of you. We will be taking the night off. We'll be back next week for the two racing cards. But just one racing night on Saturday, 10 races. Here are the PPs. And now you're taking us to race 6, which is the in-between race. This is right after the early pick 4, right before the late pick 4. But it is part of the pick 6 sequence. So race 6, maidens, 300 yards, quarter horses. What do you like here?
I'm going to give Old Flight Path one more chance. This horse has got a decent amount of ability, but just seems to find trouble each and every subsequent start. Last time, leaned back at the start, lost multiple lengths, was crossed, and was locked and loaded with a good amount of run. Only got beat 2 lengths and had probably that much or more trouble. So very well could have been right there with the leaders at the wire. Very well could have won the race with a better getaway. It's just a matter of this horse leading in one time at the start and actually getting out of the gate, because this horse did break decently 3-4 races back and it earned some decent figures, but this horse gets away clean there. Has a look at the outcome at a big 7-2 in the program. So something along those lines, 7-2, 4-1 this horse.
She did take some betting support in this night, right, Chris? She was right around 7-2, right on 3-1, 3-1, just under 7-2. She was in gate 5 in this field of 6, and you mentioned she completely missed the break, right?
Yeah, this horse leaned back at the start, lost multiple lengths, lost her racing momentum. Race was over, but was finishing well under a hold. This horse leaned back, bobbled to start, was crossed, and was being shaken up a little bit her early, but showing a nice semblance of gas right there past the gap, and was finishing pretty well. Watch this nice stride in this runner here. The final half of the affair, be beaten 2 lengths, and was on her own and galloped out very, very well. Just a matter of she can get out of the gate. She could definitely have a big look at the outcome there in that 6th race.
You can tell she was a clear third betting choice that night, 8-5, 9-5, and she was 3-1. And just focus on the start. Misses the break. Race is pretty much over after that. So she definitely needs to break much better, but she's shown the ability to break better in prior starts, and I think that's the main positive, right? Like she did 3 starts ago, she broke on top.
Yeah, she broke right there, and she ran a very nice race, and looking to get Lucky Lifetime Start get her Lucky Lifetime Start number 9 in the winner's circle there. We got one last week, and like Lucky Lifetime Start number 18. So
yes,
never know.
Yes, that's we did see. And didn't we see a runner that just broke? I forget the name of it. Was a Ricardo Guillen runner that took forever to break the maiden and then came right back to win last week, right?
Yeah, that was one of my selections on a weekend preview show. Everybody was scoffing at me, and the horse finally got there, and Lucky Lifetime starting like number 15 or 16. And guess what? Came back to beat winners last weekend.
Yeah, that was a light bulb angle after getting the maiden diploma after a long time. Definitely came back. Now we did, a new name that people that are not regularly watching Los Al, Eddie Aceves. Back in the early 2000s, Eddie Aceves used to be more of a regular rider here at Los Al. So good to see him in the name tag here, Eddie Aceves. And from what I remember, there's no relation to Rodrigo Aceves, if I remember correctly.
No relation. It's same name.
Yes, Eddie Aceves. If you've been watching Los Alamitos for many, many years, you do remember seeing that name here locally at Los Al back in the early 2000s. He used to ride a lot more regularly here at Los Al. So he's got the mount for Jose Flores, and he'll have Flight Path in gate number 3. So that'll be race number 6. And again, a field of 8. So it's a good field here to get involved in the pick 6 sequence. Will be in the second leg already in race number 6 by that time of the night. All right, getting back here to on track, Chris. Like we mentioned, we won't have racing on Sunday, but we'll be back in action the following week. And I'm looking at the calendar. We'll have, the kindergarten trials will be on the 23rd. So we'll be just a couple of weeks short away from the kindergarten trials on April 23rd. Then, of course, we'll have the finals 3 weeks after that. Are you tackling anything for the simulcast line as far as the night lines this week?
Yeah, we're on Saturday night. We're tackling races 4 through 12. They got trials, majority trials at Remington Park. A couple of baby race at the end with a really nice worker. So we'll try to help you along the way with our selections with Remington Park. They've been going pretty well as of late.
Yeah, and then you've been in Remington. That's why we're keeping an eye on Remington, because we like to keep tabs on what's going on over there and follow the season as they're off and underway down in Oklahoma. All right, Chris, good talking to you. Best of luck this weekend. And also in a few short weeks, not this week, the week after that, stay tuned. Christopher Wade will be on the FanDuel set there. I'll be out of town. He'll be taking over the seat. Chris, I expect you to sweep the card. I know you're just going to winner after winner after winner. You're going to sweep the card. I just know it, right?
Let's hope so. Let's try to get her done, as they say.
Exactly. All right, Chris, have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, boss. You too. Have a good night.
Racing fans, the traditional $2 pick six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a pick six carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the pick six pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a pick six carryover or the $10,000 pick six promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, with a season's best $205,000 on January 7th and a $115,000 pool on January 29th. The traditional $2 pick six, a great bet, a great deal, big time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos.
Yeah, the pick six has been a great promotion there. We had another great payout last weekend in that pick six, and we're going to talk to Michael Wrona about race number 6, which is part of the pick six. And I just noticed this, Michael. You and Chris are head to head going with the analysis in the same race.
Yes, we are, mate. Which hasn't happened very often.
No,
maybe 3 or so times that I recall, and when it has happened, neither of us has managed to pick the winner of the race. It's just a matter of like a minor award, scrapping for a minor award who did better in a head-to-head. But neither of us has ever found the winner's circle. Let me be on record as saying that my pick was submitted first, but yes. Quite happy to have Chris on board in the same race.
And yes, I will vouch for you. And I actually have the timestamp here. Your pick was submitted about 15 minutes before him. So okay. Your pick was in 15 minutes before Chris. So Chris decided to take on the challenge and say, you know what? I'm not going to change my mind. I'm going to stick with race 6 as well. All right. Welcome back here. Good to see you and hear you. Let's go to race number 6. Here are the PPs for race number 6. It's the quarter horse maiden event, field of 8. And, I went back to look at my notes, Michael, because I wanted to see what I originally thought of both of the Paul Jones trainees in this spot. That night on March 18th, both the 1 and the 2, Paul Jones, both were in the same race. I actually preferred the 2 a little bit more than the 1, but obviously we saw much better effort from your pick, the 1, Favorite Lady Cartel.
Yes, Favorite Lady Cartel was about 6 or 7 points longer in the wagering than KT Tooza Wild. And KT Tooza Wild began slowly and was pretty much eliminated right from the break. But apart from the fact that they debuted at Los Al in the same race, they had worked on the same morning. And I went back today and had another look at those 2 works. They were not against each other. They were in separate works. But I preferred what Favorite Lady Cartel did in the morning, and I preferred what she did in the evening on debut from the rail. She has the rail to contend with again, but she hit the line strongly after an early bump. Let's take a look at that replay, and you'll see also that which horse is it? That's also the Arosa horse, Sparkling Lights, number 7's also in the race. So Favorite Lady Cartel is number 2, but breaks from the rail because the 1 horse was scratched. So had the inside, and the Arosa horse was Saddlecloth number 5, but really came out of the number 4 post position.
Yeah. So let's focus on the inside. That's favorite Lady Cartel along the rail.
Yes, got a bump just there as they came past the gap. I thought that the Sparkling Lights, the Arosa horse, had a better trip overall, and they finished in a photo for second. It was a blanket finish, but watch for the gallop out. If you can get a glimpse of this horse on the inside going into the turn, starts to really steam away. See just there in those green and yellow colours of Parsons Ranch. Really impressed me in the gallop out in the morning work and on debut in this race. And the Kate Two's a Wild, the other Jones horse that was in this race, was chopped out very early in the piece, back at the tail of the field there mid-race. Never a factor, obviously can improve. But favourite Lady Cartel, I thought, did a great job coming through on the inside on debut. Very game finish, terrific gallop out, very nicely bred horse, and just needs to take a tiny step forward to be very tough to beat.
And you can see she was 16-1 in that race. And we talked about the Monte Rosa Trini, Sparkling Lights. Sparkling Lights was 3-1 and third by a neck. So favorite Lady Cartel was just a neck in front of her, maybe a nose in front of her in that spot. And then the other Paul Jones Trini was KT2's Are Wild, which was in saddle cloth number 6, got squeezed out off slow and pretty much eliminated. So I think one positive takeaway from your pick is that at least now she has experience from that inside post, right?
Yes. It's not ideal to be dealt gate 1 in your first 2 career starts, but she actually handled it pretty well. It's not like she ducked in sharply or anything. And if the 2 breaks slowly again, and number 3 Flight Path is a notoriously poor beginner, there might be some room to operate. I certainly hope that's the case. And if favourite Lady Cartel gets a fair shot at them, should be hard to hold out. Flight Path, the Christopher Wade pick, was actually on my watch list a long time ago, but I eventually just had to divorce myself from Flight Path because just too many problems at the start. The horse is a very risky conveyance, no doubt. With the right break can win, but I just thought it's just not a confidence-inspiring horse when the gate opens. And as for the Sparkling Lights, the Arosa horse, well, several chances there. You know, the advantage should be with my pick based on having only had the 1 start. I thought the Sparkling Lights had a pretty decent trip in the same race and has had more chances. So that's why I'm leaning the way of the favourite Lady Cartel. 5-2 on Ed Burgart's morning line.
And you know what I just noticed? Nobody in this field has ever been favored. Nobody once at all. Huh. Not the 1, not the 2. The 3 had never been as low as 3-1 until last time out. Zachary Bono has been 2-1, but not favored. The 5 has never been lower than 17-1. The 6 has never been favored. And the 8 is a long shot. Nobody has ever disappointed as a betting favorite in this field.
Well, the 6 has never raced before, and this is a 3rd entrant for Paul Jones. He has 3 in the race. This is a 4-year-old filly on debut, Lady of Stell. So Jones certainly has strong numbers in the race. Hopefully I've picked the right one. Of course, my pick last week was largely based on being lightly raced versus some other maidens who'd been trying and not succeeding. But good old Alfonso bobbed up and decided that was going to be the night. And so, you know, on that basis, Flight Path might blow me out again. But I'm just going to stick to my theory that I prefer the idea of a lightly raced horse with more scope for improvement, as opposed to horses that have been trying and not getting it done.
Perfect scenario, perfect example. Alfonso, who was an 0-for-13 career mating up to that point, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. Oh well.
So
like I always say, it's not that they can't win. It's just that I don't think they're particularly good investments, and I prefer trying to beat those horses.
For sure. Definitely, one of those scenarios where if they'll beat you, it's fine. You'll find another 2-1 shot, 3-1 shot that you're actually gonna like, versus a runner that has been a career maiden. So, all right, thank you for favorite Lady Cartel. To me, this was a very good race, like I mentioned, because nobody's disappointed as a favorite. So I'm actually interested to see who's going to go favorite. I don't have a really idea. Ed Burgart kind of gave us a little bit of a tepid Maury line as far as who he thinks where the money's going to go, but it's going to be interesting to see who actually goes favorite at post time.
Indeed, yeah. Even though my horse is a morning line favorite, I think you'll get quite reasonable odds.
I think so too. Because no one looks like a 3 to 5 shot in that race. So I think you'll get fair price on whoever you like in that spot. All right, Michael. So no racing on Easter Sunday. Any plans for you for this Easter Sunday?
Heading up to the Bay Area. It's become somewhat of a tradition to attend an Easter brunch at the Olympic Club. Quite a snazzy venue. And so Kathy and I have been invited again to a private room at the Olympic Club for Easter brunch, and we'll spend a few days up there with her parents and other relatives of hers. So that's the plan, Sunday to Wednesday.
Sounds good. Sounds like a great plan. Enjoy your Easter Sunday, and also to all the viewers, we'll be back with a 2-day action a week next weekend here at Los Alamitos. So no live racing this Sunday, but of course Saturday night we'll have 10 races on the card. And Michael Wrona going with favorite Lady Cartel in race number 6.
Okay, mate. All the best to you. Happy Easter, everyone.
Professor, did you have to pay some high-end model agency for those models of modeling our Burgart's giveaway cap for us?
Absolutely. Nothing but the best here at Los Alamitos, Jose. And look what I got here as well, the Burgart's giveaway hat that we are going to be doing on April the 29th. That's the night of the Cahuilla Bar Handicap. It will be giving away this beautiful Los Alamitos Burgart's hat, the Burgart's edition, Jose.
Yes.
While supplies last, and it's going to take place only exclusively at Burgart's. So you got to go to Burgart's to get the hat. And we're going to have a lot of other fun items going on there at Burgart's. We're going to have $5 draft beer specials, a souvenir shot glass special as well. So when you order a shot of your favorite drink, you're going to get to keep the souvenir shot glass as well.
Nice.
So we'll have a handicapping contest for cash prizes and a lot more. And pool is always only $1 there at Burgart's. But of course, when you come in and you pay your admission fee, there it is. You're going to get this cool hat here at Burgart's.
And that is, again, the date, Professor?
It's going to be on April the 29th, Saturday, April 29th, the night of the Cahuilla Bar Handicap.
All right, so stay tuned for that April 29th, and a lot more to going on there in Burgart's as well. You gotta go, and I like how you have the photo of Burgart's right at the entrance there behind you. That's the entrance of Burgart's. So if you're walking into you're driving into the parking lot, the main entrance of Los Alamitos is to the left. Burgart's is to the right there. So get ready for that Burgart's cap giveaway on April 29th at Burgart's, and also. Handicapping contest is going to involve just the night races for the handicapping contest, Professor?
Yeah, it's just going to be a fun little deal that we'll have just for the night races. A very easy pick the winners, and we'll have some cash prizes to go along with that. We might even give away a few other items as well to the top finishers. But it's all happening on Saturday, April 29th. And remember, it's going to be the night of the Cahuilla Bar there at Burgart's. You have to be at Burgart's to enjoy all this.
All right, sounds good. And do you know if the chicharrones are back? Do you know if they've been a mainstay in the menu? Do you know that?
Did they ever leave? I mean, come on. Those are delicious, of course.
Yes. All right. I'm going to get some chicharrones.
Come on by. I'll treat you to some chicharrones, Jose.
I'm getting kind of hungry, Professor G. It was just an excuse to bring up the chicharrones because I'm
exactly.
hungry.
Any chance you get, any opportunity.
Yes.
I don't blame you. Those are pretty yummy.
I request that the first time I tried them, I was like, these have to stay on the menu. I don't know if this is tryout, but these have to stay. So I was a big voucher for the chicharrones. Why don't we recap what happened last weekend, Professor? Obviously, the babies are on their way. Got some very nice babies. Obviously, some very good hot barns like the Heath Taylor barn. We'll talk about the barn of Jaime Gomez as well. But let's recap the stakes event. Jessica Cruz, a name we know from last season, upset in the James S. Smith Memorial. What a race!
Yeah, absolutely. And a big payout as well. I believe she was 27-1.
Yes.
And we had an opportunity to maybe get a carryover going into Sunday. And only a couple of horses were not paying the pick six on Saturday night, Jessica Cruz being one of them. She scores the big victory, holds off Chick's First Flash, who was flying nicely there at the end. But Jessica Cruz, owned by Gary Laramie, trained by Elena Andrade, wins the James Smith. She was only one of 2 fillies in that race, Jose. So she was beating the boys in that one. Very impressive. And like you mentioned, we knew her from last year when she won a trial to the Wild West Futurity, ran second in the final, and then comes back and does what she did here at Los Alamitos on Saturday night. We had a chance to talk to Mr. Gary Laramie about that beautiful filly that he purchased at the Los Alamitos equine sale, Jessica Cruz.
She's always been, just had a little teeny bit of bad luck. We've always been real high on her, and we're just really proud of her tonight, running against mostly the boys, so can't be happier. We won the challenge here a couple of years ago back with Monty training, and then we brought her out here. We're going to start running out here more, but yeah, happy to be here and happy to do good, you know.
Tell me about her, how you guys came to have her and the family. And
so I bought her. She was just my favorite pick out of all the fillies in the Los Alamitos equine style, and I just fell in love with her and ended up buying her. And then we took her up to Utah, and she was the fastest qualifier for the first race that she was in up there. And then after that, they canceled that race, which was unfortunate because of bad weather. And then she was in most of the other just futurities and did very well, but just couldn't quite get over the hump. And then she was ran second in the Oak, or the Wild West,
yes.
And then she was 11th fastest qualifier for the Oaks, so that didn't work out too well. But we're really proud of her. She's
where are you originally from?
We're from Utah.
Utah.
Yeah. So we bought her full sister too, so we'll have her out here for 2-year-old year.
How long have you been in the business?
Oh boy, how long have we been doing this?
Long
20 years, maybe 15 years. Yeah. So we're really happy.
But you've had some stake success, like you mentioned in the challenge. Now
Yeah.
this victory keeps the dream going, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it can be high highs and low lows, as you probably well know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But absolutely wonderful victory, and it's great to have the owners here, especially on a victory like this. Congratulations. Thank you for coming out.
Very
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
Thank you.
Well, that was fun to catch up with Gary Laramie and his wife there, as they were talking about Jessica Cruz. She kind of immediately last season, Professor, she kind of got the ability to show gate speed, right? And she mentioned how they've been unlucky a few times, but look, it gets even sweeter when you can win at 27-1.
Absolutely. They get a nice chunk of change there for winning that race. And not only that, she's now a black type mare, you know, or filly, with more opportunities to add to that black type. She's going to have a chance to run in several other races. They're going to keep her here. Trainer Elena Andrade said that they're going to be looking for so many of those stakes races that are now offered for the fillies here at Los Alamitos. Maybe later in the year, she might tackle the older mares in the big races like the Mildred Vessels. We'll see how she continues her career, how her development goes. And not only do we have the opportunity to see a nice filly like Jessica Cruz run here this weekend, we'll have the Dashing Folly. This will be for fillies and mares. We'll talk about that race a little bit later on the show, but just another nice race for the fillies and mares here at Los Alamitos.
Congrats to the Laramie family. Like they mentioned, they bought her the Los Alamitos equine sale for $71,000 back in 2021, and now we know that they purchased her full sister as well. So they're trying to keep it in the family. They he fell in love with those breeding lines, and he's got the full sister now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned trying to catch up with what happened last week. A lot happened last week. We had a lot of really nice 2-year-olds that we had talked about that are preparing for the trials to the kindergarten futurity. And how about that workout set from March 18th that
Yes.
included Think Again Kev, Choosing One, and also Political Rivalry. They worked together, and what a key set, because all three of them won last weekend, Jose. Of course, Choosing One at the fastest time by a 2-year-old so far this year. That was a 12:02 time. Think Again Kev ran a 12:03, and Political Rivalry was right there as well, running a very fast time. All of them owned by Keith Nelson. All of them sired by KVN Corona. Jose Nicasio and Heath Taylor did the honors here at Los Alamitos. A nice triple from just that set alone. And if I remember correctly, Mr. Nelson may have added another victory as well. So got to keep an eye on those runners as we get closer and closer to the kindergarten futurity trials. And how about the runners from Dr. Streelman and Dutch Masters 3 and trainer Jaime Gomez? They had a pretty nice weekend as well, capped by My Kind of Lover winning on Sunday night, returning $21. And earlier in that race against the Chosen One, Racy Sweet Corona, also from that same barn, ran a nice second as well. And like what we mentioned, the fastest time by a 2-year-old race this season. So a nice duo there just on Sunday night for Dr. Streelman. We had a chance to talk to him, catch up with him real briefly following My Kind of Lover's race on Sunday night.
5 horses, 2 firsts, 1 second, and 2 thirds.
Isn't that bad?
Not bad.
Isn't that bad?
He knows what he's doing, huh?
What? Well, he's got good help.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
I
That's
always
exactly
got
right.
little help all the time.
Yeah, he's got good help. It's
You were talking about enjoying the weekend Cloudburst last night, and
our first race in about 6 months, and
That
we
was
walked down here. That's nice. That's always nice. You know, these babies, you know, every year it's hopes and dreams, and we've been hoping and dreaming, and now I think we got a
6
little thing
months.
to work with.
Yeah.
I like the quip, Professor G. He knows what he's doing. He's like, he's got good help. I like that. They've been long time partners. I enjoy those two personalities of the racetrack. Good to see them there on track at Los Al. I was a believer in Cloudburst, Professor. Top pick for yours truly here. So I'll tip my own horn with that one. As that one scored at a nice price.
That definitely, Jose. And when Dr. Sherman is saying Jaime has good help, and you know he's right, because it's Carlos Lopez, who was a longtime trainer here at Los Alamitos. He actually trained a champion for Dr. Streelman by the name of 440 Blast. And when I started working here, 440 Blast was one of the top 3-year-olds running at Los Alamitos, actually in the nation. He may have ended up winning the AQHA champion 3-year-old gelding title, if I remember correctly. He won a lot of nice derbies here at Los Alamitos for Dr. Streelman, his partner at the time, Denny Boer, the late Denny Boer. And it was Carlos Lopez who was training him. And look, they're still working together. Of course, Jaime Gomez, the lead man there at the barn, but Carlos Lopez is a great friend of Jaime's, and also a great horseman there helping him out.
Yeah, that connection has been, that partnership has been, you know, well documented over the years here at Los Al, and congrats to them. I mean, what he said, 5 starters, 2 wins,
1 second, and no, excuse me, what is it? 1/3 and 2 seconds, right? I think that's what he said.
So 1, 2, and 3, right? And he's
all
like,
5 of them hit the board. All
Yes,
5 of them hit the board. 2 wins. That nice second by Racy Sweet Corona, who they really like.
Yeah.
You know, they think that that horse is going to be really nice.
Yeah, and I like how they just say, it's not bad. It's not bad. You know, every runner is either getting a check, making a win photo or something, and they're like, that's not bad. It's not bad. So congrats to them. I'm sure they'll be pointing, you know, towards those kindergarten trials, which are coming up on April. Robert A. Their kindergarten futurity trials on April 23rd. So we're just a few short weeks away from those trials. So that gives us a good idea of what happened last week. And now let's say what's up to coming this upcoming weekend, Professor, as we do have 10 races on Saturday night, 10 races on Saturday night. We won't be racing on Easter Sunday, right? But we got 10 races here for Saturday.
10 races on Saturday, and some more babies. We're going to have a couple of more races for 2-year-olds. And like I mentioned earlier, we are going to have the $30,000 Dashing Folly Handicap. And Jose, how about the fact that you and I have now covered on this show 3 runnings of the Dashing Folly? So we're now on our 3rd year covering this race. Our very first show, I don't know if you remember this, Jose, but was talking about the Dashing Folly Handicap. And remember, we had Tammy Purcell on that.
Yes. So that was our debut show, Professor?
That
Are you
was.
telling me?
Yep.
Wow,
That's the
look
third
at
time
that.
that we've talked about the Dashing Folly on this very show.
There it is. So that's kind of a good way to like kind of always remember where we began our first iteration of this webcast preview.
Absolutely right. And it's going to be a really good race here on Saturday. 8 standout fillies or mares in the Dashing Folly, including last year's winner, Gara Corona Jess, who we have not seen since last year's victory in the Dashing Folly. Lady Cartel is a stakes winner. Sweet Caroline won the Wild West, defeating Jessica Cruz. And Fearless Fortitude is a futurity winner as well. Temple Court has been in some grade 1 races. We'll get into that race a little bit later, but just to kind of talk about, set up that big race, going to be a good one.
All right, let's go in order. Let's go back to race number 7 is the first of the baby races for Saturday night. We'll glance at this field here as we got a field of 6. Now we're starting to see horses with racing experience. We do have a 6-5 favorite in Sweet Bet, good 1250 workout. And how are you thinking about this race, Professor? You think the experience is going to really, be a big advantage for some of these 2-year-olds? How do you think how the betting public is going to see some of these races?
Over the past years, we've had horses with some experience come up and kind of surprise. You look at those workout times and you think, man, they're going 12-3, they're going 12-4. That's the one to beat. But you cannot overlook that experience. And how about Fireplace also drawing an outside post? That might help this horse as well, because last out debuting, started from post number 2, moves to the outside post, has a little bit of experience, and you're going to get a pretty decent price at 6-1. I am with you in that Sweet Bet. Looks pretty darn tough, especially from that workout. But I also like the 3 AP1 Wicked Fire at 5-1. I thought this colt had a pretty nice work as well.
Yeah, so those are going to be the main contenders for race number 7. I went 4-3. Yeah, I went 4-3 in the Nightland. So I went with the first time starters in this spot. So I went Sweet Bet over AP1 Wicked Fire. Let's move along to race number 8, and this is a good mix of experience versus first time starters. Actually, we have 4 experienced runners and 2 first time starters. So I want to show the workout of one of those first time starters, and that is a Wayward Vixen from the Monte Rosa barn. Worked 1270 on March 9th.
And had some little bit of trouble when the gates open, Jose. So once we start showing the work, we can kind of go through it. But this runner comes from a really nice family. The mother, pretty sure, won some stakes races during her career. So let's watch Wayward Vixen here. It's going to lean back as the gate open, but then it's just going to lunge out in a hurry. And she's going to be right there with the stablemate, making chicks move. Nice quick stride from there. Is going to keep up nicely with the inside mate. Kind of an encouraging little hand right there early on. Takes control of the work at the midway point. And you see the rider there kind of took a quick glance back so that that Wayward Vixen was, going ahead and just kind of cooled off from there.
I like the body language as far as she kind of was listening to the rider's instruction. They weren't really asking for much. And I also like that she didn't move in or out a lot, Professor. I like how she pretty much kept the straight path. And also she was on the outside of runners, right? So she had a runner on the inside of her, which is the scenario that she's going to have this upcoming Saturday. She's on the outside post and she's going to have a runner on the inside of her. I think that could be very, very beneficial for sure for Wayward Vixen.
And I mentioned that her mother had won some stakes races. She won the Hawthorne Futurity. Her name, Wayward Wings, is a stakes winner and the mother of Wayward Vixen.
And the reason why I like her in this spot, I like the 3-1. She's going to be my lock of the night. She not only I like how professional she looked, but also the dam was a debut winner. 2 of the 3 siblings were debut winners. The sire, Cardis Cartel, was a debut winner. Wasn't he trained by Jaime Gomez? He might have been trained by Jaime Gomez, if I remember.
Carter's Cartel?
Yeah, he might have.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
A champion runner, won the kindergarten and the Ed Burke to start off the career for owners Double Bar S Ranch.
Yes. So a lot of win early pedigree on Wayward Vixen. Now, she is going to have her hands full because Wrona Isamar almost gave everybody a big scare 22-1 first time out, Professor. And I believe Mom's Legacy was a winner for Felix Gonzalez at 7-1, maybe, if I remember correctly that night. So Wrona Isamar ran very, very well on debut.
And she had a pretty nice workout, if I recall. I liked her work. And you got, if you watch that work and liked her, she was going at 20-1 and 20-1. So she may have been a nice little exacta mate for the winner, Mom's Legacy.
Now, Professor, is there any relation to the Guillen's trainers? Do you know of?
I don't know that. I don't know. But let me tell you, Mr. Isaro Guillen, he's had some nice long shot winners here at Los Alamitos. Yes. He does a really nice job.
And the other Guillen has had some long shot winners as well.
Yes. He had a $70 winner, right? Yes. Not too long ago. Yeah, he's had a terrific meet.
So if you're supporting the Guillens in the racetrack here in Los Al, you're cashing big prizes out of that. So congrats to you. Best of luck to Isauro Guillen and owner Jose Alfredo Aguila with Wrona Isamar. Let's go over to race number 9, another two-year-old event, 220 yards, maidens. Only one experienced runners, which is Mocha Moon Pie, and he's actually the longest shot in the morning line. So this is where the morning line maker Ed Burgart thought the first time starters might have hold an edge in the spot.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with the one. He's lonesome. After a really sharp work, a very professional work, I thought. And the breeding lines on this horse I really like. I remember the sire. He's Our Secret, was a champion runner here at Los Alamitos, made over almost $900,000. And let's see, He's Lonesome's gonna work evenly with Favorite Runway. He's going to be breaking from the inside post, going to go 12-4. And the mother, SC Coronada, also performed well here at Los Alamitos. So He's Lonesome's going to break sharply. Will take off to an early lead. Look how professional the horse is going. Mm-hmm. Very straight path there. And it's going to continue nicely along the way.
And like you mentioned, SC Coronada, she was a good runner here at Los Al. She might have won her debut. I'll have to look it up. Look at my notes there.
Yeah,
but
she may have qualified to the kindergarten as well from Ranch Reliance Ranch. Reliance Ranch.
And so SC Coronada, good race mare. He's Lonesome, good 1240 workout. And what I liked about that workout is that there was not a lot of movement. He was fairly
professional.
Yeah. Which is always a positive, especially when you have a runner that only has one published workout. Are you concerned about the rail a little bit, given what has happened up to this point with some of these babies?
No, we've had quite a few runners that have won from the rail, so no concern at all.
He's Lonesome is listed at 8-5. My Royal Papacito for Monte Rosa is listed at 2-1 on the outside, and then you got Val Parras for Roman Figueroa and Jose Luis Valdez, the owner, at 7-2. It looks like those three runners are going to take the majority of the play based on those workouts, but hard not to like what we saw from He's Lonesome in that March 25th.
One thing that I'm kind of interesting to see is how the number 3 horse KR Stingray performs, because if this horse maybe hits the board, man, what a bargain Rodolfo Viramontes got at the Los Alamitos equine sale. Purchased this colt for only $5,000. Sire by 5-Bar Cartel, out of a really nice mare by the name of KR Dragonfly, who made a lot of money during her racing career. So I'll be interested to see how KR Stingray goes, because for $5,000, that is an excellent price to pay for a potential nice runner. We'll see.
And to get to some of the pedigrees there, to get back to the one SC Coronada, the dam was a debut winner, Professor. She went 3 for 9. She finished 4th in the kindergarten futurity.
Yeah.
So, this is her first runner. So best of luck to He's Lonesome. The 3 you mentioned, she earned nearly $160,000 in her career, won 7 of 24 starts. She has produced 6 winners from 8 starters. So there's a lot of winning siblings on the KR Stingray side.
Yeah.
No debut winners though, but lots of winning siblings in that family.
And isn't SC Coronado's mother Spit Curl Diva?
Yeah, I would gamble that yes.
I think so. I think
yeah.
so. So he's Lonesome comes from a really nice line of female runners.
Let's go to the featured event, race 10, the Dashing Folly. Like Professor just told us, this marks the third season that we were covering this race on our previous show here at losalamitos.com. So Dashing Folly, 30,000 purse, 350 yards. We got a good field of 8 runners. And let's go top to bottom, Professor. I got a Corona Jess. The last time she was at the racetrack, she won this race, but that was a year ago. What do you think about her from the row?
I think she has a pretty good chance for that workout at 1870. A nice 18.4 as well on February 4th. On December 23rd, had a 12.30 work. So all the works have been pretty solid. They've taken their time with her. Has a new trainer, Adan Faria, and a new jockey, Ricardo Ramirez. And Ricardo Ramirez, we know him well from winning races around the turn, but I think he's a pretty nice rider in the straightaway races. I think Gata Corona Jess has a nice chance. And
his, some of his winning mounts for the quarter horse side have been for this barn. So there's the barn that puts him on those live quarter horse mounts. Lady Cartel lost a tough one last time out, Professor. I mean, she ran as good as you've seen without getting the win photo. That was a tough beat for Lady Cartel.
And she has a lot of good luck in stakes races. She finished in a dead heat in a stakes race last year, ran second in the Josie Go stakes against In My Heart. And like you mentioned, ran second in the Denim and Diamonds.
One Sweet Duck, I had her as my long shot play the night last time out, and she just missed the break. Broke slow, never looked comfortable. We're looking forward to her. Was it her sister? She was scratched, right? Her sister got scratched last week.
Right, yeah.
And so we're looking forward to seeing One Sweet Duck's sister, sibling, so we need to get to see that one maybe later on in the next few weeks. But One Sweet Duck, I'm not going to let her beat me at big odds, Professor. She can break much, much better than what we saw last time out.
Yeah, that's the big key. When she was performing well here at Los Alamitos, around this time last year, she was really fast out of the gate. Won her maiden going wire to wire, won her trial to the kindergarten fortuity, going wire to wire. She has the speed. Just 3 outs ago in the trials to the Wild West, she may have been the fastest qualifier to the Wild West, winning that race by 2 lengths. And in the Wild West final, just everything went wrong for her in that race. And unfortunately, like you mentioned, she didn't have a great outing last out in a trial to the Los Alamitos Oaks. But yeah, the talent has been there for her in the past. Can she regain that talent and show it again in the Dashing Folly? We'll see. Remember, she is facing some older horses.
Yeah, what I do like is flipping halter, Professor. Flipping halter on, which we haven't seen on her. You notice the running lines there. She hasn't worn the flipping halter. So that might help her without a doubt. Sweet Caroline, we know her as the Wild West Futurity winner from last October. She came back off the layoff last time out. She broke well, but she didn't have the gear to go in the latter stages of that trial last time out. So second time off the layoff, and she's been wearing the flipping halter throughout. So she'll be keeping it on Saturday night.
Crystal Price is a stablemate of Lady Cartel. So I got a duo of runners here for EG High Desert Farms. Cruz Mendez has had a pretty nice season already at Los Alamitos. Won the El Primero del Año Derby a couple of weeks ago with his Chickless. Let's see if he can pick up another stakes win here at Los Al. The 6 Fearless Fortitude won the Cherry Creek Futurity in Arapaho back last August. Ran third in the Mile High Futurity, also in Colorado. And first out here at Los Al, ran 5th against that same runner as well, Sweet Caroline, 6th in the same trial to the Los Alamitos Oaks.
She's 2 for 2 at 350 yards, so she might just prefer getting back to 350 to 6. Temple Court, I mean, she was showing tremendous amount of talent to begin her career, right? She broke slow last time out. 2 starts ago, she had trouble in the futurity trial for the $2 million, I want to say, back in November. We know she can run much better. And, Jose Nicaso was a bore for some of those better efforts. So I wouldn't count out Temple Court to bounce back with a better performance.
No, anytime that you can win a trial to the Golden State Million Futurity at 400 yards, yeah, you gotta take a look at this 3-year-old filly here in the Dashing Folly, and she's the one that actually ran with Fearless Fortitude. They ran together in that trial race. Fearless Fortitude actually finished ahead of Temple Court. They both finished behind Streaks of Power. And rounding out the field is the number 8 horse, Remember Her, coming off of a second place finish in the Queen for Cash against Forever Dynasty. Jonathan Roman up for trainer Scott Willoughby. Jonathan Roman has ridden this filly before, actually ran third with her in the Holiday Handicap.
And I would argue that she is the quickest filly out of the gate in this field, at least the most consistent filly out of the gate in this field. So having the outside post, I think, is beneficial for a runner that tends to break well, like she does. Look at her running lines, Professor. She's either broken first or second in 8 of 9 starts. And
on the past performances that we're showing here, she's only been on the outside post once. That was in an allowance race back on August 13th, and she won that race handily, winning, going wire to wire, winning by a half a length, defeating Better Off Friends and AJ Born Running. AJ Born Running is a really nice runner. So Remember Her is my top selection here at 3-1. The Kitty up filly will be my top selection. Jonathan Roman up at 3-1.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement. I like the outside post. I like that she can break well. She's fairly consistent. And then I would argue that I don't want the price on the 3 is too good for me. So that's another runner that I would like to have in every single ticket. Flipping halters on for a 1 Sweet Talk. So I think she might be attractive at a price.
That could be a pretty nice paying exacta, Jose, with the 8 going to the 3 there in the Dashing Folly. I gotta include the 1 and got a Corona Jess. If I'm playing the trifecta here, I think she's gonna have a nice race.
Off the layoff, has not been seen since last year. She can claim that she's the defending winner of this race, so everybody has to take that title away from her.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she's now in the barn of Alamitos as well, previously trained by Lindolfo Diaz. So that's a look at the Dashing Folly, and that's a little bit of a recap of what's happened last week and what's to come this weekend at Los Al. And again, Professor, no racing this Easter Sunday.
No racing this Easter Sunday. 10 races on Saturday. First post will be 6:35 p.m. And we'll get started with some nice races around the turn, some 4.5 furlong events, some 1,000-yard events, and then we'll include the nice group of quarter horse races towards the end of the card. The late pick 4 will be an all quarter horse late pick 4, as it usually is here at Los Alamitos.
All right, thank you for that informative follow-up, Professor G. As always, fun to catching up with you. And I know I have a special treat for the viewers, as some of the sunsets we had over the last few weeks at La Salle, they've been magnificent. We're known as the track of sunset and stars, Professor. But with the recent wet weather and the cloudy overcast, we've had some beautiful sunsets here at La Salle.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna show some photographs of the recent sunsets and just kind of the weather that we've had. Just from the past maybe 2-3 weeks, You're going to see some beautiful sunsets here at Los Alamitos. We'll close out the show with these great images here taken by our one of our great track photographers here at Los Al.
Before I let you go, Professor, last show we were talking there might be some pizza bets with Curtis the Hitman Trees. Did he offer a pizza bet with Lakers versus Clippers?
No, he was super quiet. Did not hear from him.
Really?
When your team goes 10-0 against the other team, I don't blame them. Now it's 11-0. I don't blame them. I wouldn't be talking much.
Professor, it felt like if there was ever the Lakers' chance to really hype themselves up and take over that Clippers winning streak against them, it felt like this was going to be the game. But Clippers came out strong and they held them off.
Yeah, when Russell Westbrook is hitting 3-pointers to begin the game, you're in for a long night.
Yeah. So it was a good battle for LA here for the basketball fans in California, as it was Lakers Clippers, and it had a strong implications as far as the playoffs as well, because they were tied in the win-loss column, and now that created a little bit of separation. So I'm disappointed in my ex-podcast host. So I'm gonna have to get up and talk to Curtis about it.
Yeah, get him going. I don't know. George was doing a little bit of talking, George Duarte, but after halftime, He says, "Oh, I think the Clippers are taking this game seriously." And that's kind of been the case with that team. They don't always take, what they're doing too serious. They have to take the next game serious because they're playing a kind of a weekend Portland Trail Blazers team. There's their chance to really set themselves up nicely. They cannot lose that game.
Yeah, if you're a basketball fan, especially the NBA right now, with college just wrapping up with the March Madness, the NBA Western Conference is a fun race. It's a fun race at the finish line, and I would like to say in quarter horse racing. All right, Professor, good to catch up with you. Again, first post around 6:30ish, following the Santa Anita Derby card that they'll have across town, right?
Yeah, they have a huge card at Santa Anita, 12 races, the Santa Anita Derby. The horse that won the Los Alamitos Futurity here at Los Alamitos is one of the top runners there in the Santa Anita Derby. So we're looking forward to that race as well. And of course, we're going to have simulcasting here on Saturday night from Remington Park, Meadowlands. Cal Expo will actually be running on Sunday night. So we are going to be open for simulcasting on Sunday night, showing all the Cal Expo action, Australia as well, simulcasting from all the various harness tracks. And don't forget, April 29th, Jose, here at Los Alamitos, the night of the Cahuilla Bar at Burgart's, you can pick up this nice hat just by paying your admission to Burgart's here, nighttime admission after 4:30 p.m., and you'll get this nice hat. We got a lot of other things going on, a lot of fun things happening on April 29th at Burgart's.
And if you get a shot of your favorite beverage, Patron Tequila for me.
There you go.
Just as an example, Patron Tequila, I'll get to keep the shot glass as well. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got it. So it's going to be a fun night. Just mark your calendars. Hope to see you there April 29th at Burgart's.
Sounds great. Thank you for the updates, Professor, and I'll see you out there this weekend. Aloha.
Thanks so much, Jose.
Racing fans, the traditional $2 Pick 6 at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a Pick 6 carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the Pick 6 pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a Pick 6 carryover or the $10,000 Pick 6 promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, with a season's best $205,000 on January 7th and a $115,000 pool on January 29th. The traditional $2 Pick 6, a great bet, a great deal, big-time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos.